Hello there and welcome. My name is Sam. I'm the creator of House Plus Plant. Today we are going to go over my fall winter plant routine. So I'm going to kind of go over ways I keep my plants happy in the fall and winter. I live in the Midwest. I'm growing zone 5B. So that means that we get really cold winters where we get hard freezes. So I can't leave any of my houseplants outside. I have a large amount that I put outside on my porch for the summer months. But now that we're getting into fall, it's like the second day of October now, we have to actually start bringing them in. So I think this weekend is gonna be like lows in the 40s, I believe. So if there's only like a day or two in the 40s and then we get back to like the 50s at night, I will leave them out. But I think it's gonna start to just keep going downhill after that. So I have already started prepping my plants for bringing them inside. We are going to go over how I keep them happy inside during the like darker, shorter days of fall and winter. So a big thing that we're gonna talk about is grow lights, and I have a wide variety and I'm gonna go over all of them and tell you what I like about some, don't like about some, all that kind of stuff. So buckle up. So here we are in my sunroom. This is where a lot of my plants that were out on the porch will come to live after I've brought them inside. The reason is this is a bright south or west facing window. So when we're thinking about where we want to have our plants in the winter, the south windows and west windows will be the most intense light, which most houseplants do want, especially in the winter because the sun is further away, so it's not as intense as it is in the summer. So a west window in the summer is very intense. You may even need to move some plants back a little bit from the windows in the middle of summer when it's super hot. But in the winter, we want to get as many plants up close to the windows as possible. Don't worry about them being cold. As long as they're not like touching the glass, they'll be okay. So a little bit of cold won't hurt anybody. Not having enough light over the winter will hurt your plants. So make sure that you have them with enough light. I always recommend using a light meter. This is the one that I use. I have another one as well that I like, but this is the one I'll use today to kind of show you. But this light meter will tell us how much light our plants are getting in a certain spot. So here, if we turn it on, let's see, you can kind of see. So this is measuring, I want it to measure foot candles. So down in here, you'll see FC. So that's foot candles. And so we want to have like, I would say an average of 300 foot candles a day. That is like minimum for growth. So I would also probably try to get them in spots where you're gonna have more like 500 foot candles plus average per day, which is gonna be right in a south window, right in a west window. So you're gonna wanna measure your light in the morning, and you'll just kind of hold this in front of the leaf that's by the window and read the light in the morning, in the like at noon, and then in the evening, and then average those numbers together, and that will give you your average foot candles. So let me show you how I do this because this is very important. So when we're thinking about trying to find a spot that is good for our plants, we want it to be nice and bright. So I'm gonna check just in this west window here. Let's see if I can show you how I do this without it being too dark. All right, so here's this. So I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna look at this. This is a string of pearls down here. So I'm gonna face it like the pearls are facing the window. So you can see right there, it's at about, is it gonna stop moving? Between 700 and 800 foot candles, which is perfect. And now this is obviously more early afternoon, so you could check in the morning as well, but that is really good for right now. If you do not have good windows in your house, so say you only have north facing windows, or I mean, east is okay, but if you only have like north facing windows, you're gonna wanna get some grow lights. Honestly, even if you have great light in your house, you still might wanna add grow lights for your plants that are high light loving plants like ficus, succulents, cacti, philodendron. Any of those are gonna want a little bit of extra light if you want them to keep growing all winter long. If you don't add grow lights, you might just get like slowed down growth, which is okay, but I prefer to keep my light really high so that my plants can use water efficiently, and then you're not worried about root rot over the winter. So let me show you some grow lights that I use, and we will go over those. For example, in this room alone, I have 2 grow lights set up, and that is because I have a very large Ficus lyrata fiddle leaf fig in here. And although it's next to this west window with some other bright light around it, it's still not enough to make it happy. So I actually have up here in the corner is a 36 watt SANSI grow light bulb. And it's just the bulb right here. This is what it looks like. Looks like this. And so this can go in any light fixture. I actually just put it into a pendant light cord, and then I used an old basket upside down and just kind of made a shade out of it. So you can do that. You can buy a pendant light that already comes with a shade and everything and just put this bulb in. You can even put these bulbs into floor lamps. So if you have a floor lamp already that's kind of like an arch one, or any lamp that has the bulb where it faces down will work great. You don't want your bulb facing up into a lamp. You definitely want it facing down. So this is the one that I use. This is one that I have used. I've used this bulb right here that's in there right now, has been in there for almost 2 years, and it's great. It still reads great on the foot candle scale, and let me show you what those foot candles are. Okay, I had to have my husband's help for this one. Okay, so here we are at about 1,100, 1,200 foot candles, and that is amazing for this fiddle leaf fig. And so that is getting it for 14 hours a day. Another nice thing about using grow lights is that your plants are getting that much light for as long as you leave them on. So I prefer to leave my grow lights on for 14 hours a day just to kind of like mimic the longest days of summer. So 14 hours a day, every single day, and this ficus is getting that amount of light. So it is constantly growing, which is awesome, because a lot of times, especially as like trees get bigger, you just don't have enough light in your house. So they kind of stall in their growth and they can start to have issues. Lack of light can cause so many different problems like diseases, pest susceptibility, all of that. So it's very important to have a lot of bright light for your plants. So let's go over some other types of grow lights that I find helpful. Okay, so up here in this room, I have a variety of grow lights, and you can see I absolutely love using grow lights in lamps. So this is a 3-head lamp, and the types of grow lights I use, I have this kind here, which you can get at most stores, I think, like Lowe's or something. And then I have the SANSI 15 watt, which is just the smaller version of the one I just showed you down in my sunroom. So I have both. I have 2 of the SANSI 15 watts up here, and then I have the other one, this one, just down in this one. Now, the only thing with these is they're not as strong. So the SANSI 15 watts are about twice as strong as those other ones, and so just for the money you get a way better deal with the SANSI, and they also have a 5-year warranty, which is super helpful. So I prefer to use these when I can. I also have one in this lamp. I have a Rousseau grow light here as well, which is nice. It's just all its own pendant cord. I have a Halo grow light here, which has like this telescoping stand that you can stick in there. You can stick into a pot or whatever. And then I have a SANSI clip-on light right back there, which between these two as well, like this one is not as strong either. And I love the SANSI that I can clip it onto anything instead of having to like sticking this one down into the soil. You can actually just clip the SANSI one onto the pot, or like I have it clipped onto my grow pole right there. And so for this one, it works, and it's not like necessarily a bad grow light. Again, it's just not as strong. So I prefer these and they're about the same price too. So I prefer the SANSI, and I'll show you how that one works too. All right, so here is what the SANSI clip-on lights look like. I have been recommending these for a while, and they are a huge hit. Everyone loves them that grabs them. And they have a timer, which all of these actually do. And if they don't come with a timer, I will use a smart plug so that I can have like the app on my phone so that I can have it going for 14 hours a day. I think these go up to 12 hours a day, which is fine. So I always just have it on the max. So they run for 12 hours a day, and they're more of like a nice warm light. You can kind of tell too, like with this Halo, it's a little bit more of a blue light versus this one over here is a little bit more warm. And so I prefer that too. And I always go for the full spectrum. So these are all full spectrum lights. They're not, you'll notice I don't have any of the purple or red grow lights. I prefer full spectrum, which is the closest to the actual sunlight that you can get. So full spectrum is where it's at. These have these little clippies on here, like I said, that can clip onto the pot, plug into USB, whatever. So super easy. I was gonna measure the foot candles between these two because I believe, like I mentioned, that the SANSI is a little bit stronger. So I'm gonna go about this distance. Can you see that? And we're at about 350-ish. So 350 foot candles. And then let me see if I can get up here. We're at about, what does that say? 600? 6-ish? 600 foot candles, so almost double, I would say. It's obviously a little hard to be super accurate when I'm holding them, but I was trying to hold them the same distance away. So I do feel like they're a little bit stronger, which is very helpful. Now, there is another type that I love that is, let me see here, the clip-on, like, different head grow lights. So let me show you that one. I have one over here. Okay, and then here is this octopus style clip-on, so you can clip it anywhere. It also has timers. This one is nice. It goes up to 12 hours. You can click A or B and have, like, one is A, one is B, so one can be on and one can be off. They can both be on at the same time. These are 10 watt SANSI bulbs in here. So you could probably even switch these out for like the 15 watt if you wanted something a little bit stronger. But I like this because of its versatility. You can have it on a bookshelf, on a table, hanging from something. Like, you can kind of put it wherever you need it. So that's really nice as well. And then you can, of course, kind of move them all around whichever direction you need. So these are super nice too. I want to run downstairs real quick though, because I do have a bar grow light that I might want to switch out for that SANSI octopus style, because I don't feel like this one is strong enough for the succulents I have it on. All right, so this is the one I have. It's like a bar shape, a little bit more, you can see like the red, it's a little bit more cool light. I have it on these succulents just because I liked that it was a little bit like longer, but I feel like it's not the best. So let's see here. So we're at about 270-ish. Which to me, so we're at about 270-ish. That's really not enough for my succulents. So I think I will switch this one out for the other one that I just showed. I think it'll be stronger and it should make those a little bit happier. This is a north-facing window, so I wanted to make sure I had a grow light in this window for the winter for sure. I will be sure to have all of the grow lights I just showed, along with all of the products I used to prevent pests when I'm bringing my plants back inside, linked below in the description. So if you want to go grab any, you can. But again, grow lights will be your best friend over the winter. Even if you live somewhere where it's nice and sunny all the time, grow lights can be so helpful because you can put them in darker corners where you couldn't normally have a plant, and it's just great. So make sure that you grab grow lights, stock up while you still have time before you go into winter, because you want to have them on your plants before they start to have leaves starting to yellow and kind of drop and stuff, because once that happens, the damage has already been done. So make sure that you get the light on them before the days start to get shorter. So keep that in mind. Another thing I want to talk about for the health of your plants over the winter is humidifiers and just kind of like dry air. So I live somewhere where it's very humid during the summers and very, very dry during the winters. I do have humidifiers around. I don't think that humidifiers are as important as we may think for most plants. Of course, there's going to be some plants that absolutely need the humidity, like ferns and some other tropical plants, but most of our household plants will be okay with our normal household humidity, anywhere between 30% relative humidity and 50%. So keep that in mind. If you want to have a little humidifier near some of your plants, that's helpful. Honestly though, going around and misting your plants with a spray bottle isn't going to do much. So if you want to actually help increase the humidity to the point where your plants can benefit from it, make sure you use a humidifier. I have one. Do I have one over here behind me? Yeah. So right down in there is my humidifier for this room, and I love that one. It's by Humidity. The other thing is I do not stop fertilizing. So A lot of times you'll hear that you should start cutting back on fertilizer in the winter or stop fertilizing completely. And that has to do with the amount of light your plants are getting. So if your plants are getting less light, they're going to slow down their growth. And if you're fertilizing just as much as you were in the summer, you're going to overload them with nutrients because they can't use it as fast because they're not growing as quickly. If you're using grow lights and you have your plants in really good light and good windows and they're still growing, you need to keep fertilizing because they are needing food. So make sure that you know your plants. If they're starting to slow down on their growth, you can kind of cut back by like half the amount of fertilizer or just don't fertilize as frequently. I continue to fertilize every time I water all the way through the winter because I do use grow lights and because my plants keep growing. As always, make sure you are cleaning your leaves so that your plants can photosynthesize properly. Make sure that you're checking for pests regularly. Spider mites get quite a bit worse in the winter for me. I think it's mostly because of the dry air. They love that, so keep an eye on those and treat for them when needed. And I know that was a lot of information. It was kind of all over the place. So if you have any questions about fall prep or winter care for your plants, please leave them in the comments. I check every single comment and I can respond to you if you're needing help with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future content. And I will see you guys next time.